Hi, my name is Vitumelo Kumalo. I'm a leather crafter. I'm about to introduce the tools that I work with. The reason why I'm doing this video, I just want to encourage people to maintain that distance and stay at home, and while they're doing that they can learn a skill that will bring food on the table. The tools that I work with, you can easily get them online. You can order them online or visit any leather store or craft store that is near you. And then again, they're very work friendly, so they're not that difficult to master or to utilize. So this is just going to be a joyride for all of us. And again, I just want to thank the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture for assisting me to be able to shoot these videos and share them with everybody, you know. So thank you very much, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Okay, firstly, what I'm going to introduce is this cutter. It's a stripe cutter. We've got a blade here that is facing this direction. The sharp part is on this side. So what happens is when you put your leather, you put it through this side and you pull it through the other side. Let me just quickly show you. Like this. And your leather must not be too soft, because then it won't go through, or it will not give out the same quality that you're looking for. So you just put it like that through, voila, and these are the results of this cutting tool. As you can see, it gives out a very straight outcome. And on this tool here, we've got measurements here, so you can make it loose here and decrease or increase your size according to the design of the product that you are designing or that you're making. And then the other one here is a different type of cutting. This one is a side cutter. Usually we use it when we cutting a piece of leather together with this. This is a grinded ruler. It's got all kinds of measurements. It's very good when you wanna do your curves and your 90-degree angles on your pattern. So this is very handy when you're designing your patterns as well. So what you do is, when you cut with this, your fingers must never be on the other side of the ruler. It must always be on top of the ruler, so that you must not cut your fingers off. For instance, let me just show you here. It's very important for you as a crafter to work on top of this mat, this cutting mat, because of its measurements as well. The type of accuracy you get out of this is amazing. So even if your ruler is skew, it gives you a direction and it shows you immediately where you are doing wrong, you see. So you will place your ruler like that, and then where you're cutting, you're just going to apply a bit of pressure. As you can see, this is how it works. And we also have a different, remember, when you're not using this tool, the blades must always be inside, so that you must not hurt yourself. And also the blades are replaceable, so it's very keen that the blade that you use is always sharp, so that it can give you the results that you want. And then the other type of ruler that we use is this stainless steel one. This is my favorite. I've been using this ruler for years now. It never runs out on you. It's always there. As you can see, the amount of stains here of glues and dye. What happens, it works the same way as that granite ruler. Always your fingers are on top of the ruler like this. It's never on the other side. And as well as wherever you cut, that's where you apply your pressure, so that your leather must be stiff and it must not be skew as you cut it. Okay, and then the next one here, we have a buffer. And at the back of this buffer, you can see there's a sharp blade here, and this blade is used to scarf your leather. For instance, this piece, when you're doing one of your products, you want to stitch it together or you want to bend it. like this on the edges, and then maybe punch on top of it and stitch. But as you can see, this leather is too thick, so when you bend it straight like this, it does not bend as good as you want it to. So we're going to use a scaffer. It cuts from the inside to outside like that, so it will definitely reduce the leather. It's, as you can see, it scuffs off your leather, and as you scuff, your leather is becoming thin and thinner. I don't know if you'll be able to spot it on your camera, but the thickness of this leather here is very thin compared to the place where you didn't scuff your leather. So after scuffing like that, that's where you'll be bending, maybe applying your glue. After applying your glue, you'll be able to bend your leather and maybe use this. This is what we use. We call it a mallet. It's what we use as a hammer. We don't use a stainless steel hammer because it can damage your product. So with this mallet, the plastic or the mold that is used for this tool, it's very friendly on your leather. So you can always, after applying your glue, and just bend it with the mallet. It's also good for your shoes as well. Maybe even if you need to, you know, you're making, let's say you're designing a bag and you had to apply glue on all of the surface. Let's say your surface is this big, so for it to be flat with no pleats, then a mallet works very good for that. Okay, and as you can see, as a crafter, leather crafter, it gets very messy on your surface, so you must always try to clean your surface so that the other offcuts or whatever that is left there must not stick on your work that you're doing. Okay, and then after that we have a scissor. This one is quite a big scissor. You get ones that is specifically for leather. So this one, you can always use it on your linings as well, which is material, which is not hide. So I chose to use this one because I can use it on both type of material. Okay, and then what we're having here are punches. We've got different type of punches on leather crafting. It depends on the type of stitches you want to do and the type of products you're making. Usually for these, they work very good on all types of leather, veg and soft leather. So it let's say you will be your markings, you've made your markings on your piece of leather, and you need to make holes for you to stitch on. Okay, we have a surface that we put at the bottom. That surface, it protects your punches, the edge of your punches here, so that they are always sharp, you know. So just be careful before you utilize your punches. There must always be something at the bottom so that it must prevent your edges not to hit the table. Something like this, rubberish like that, or at some craft shops, especially I think in Gauteng province, you do get, and Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, you do get stores whereby they sell nice molds that you can work from. Okay, so for instance, let's just say this is the piece of leather that you want to punch on. You will hold it like that and just hit it. Okay, that was a bit skew, but I'll show you again. You don't even need to apply too much force, you know. These are the type of punches that you can be flexible with your design. So even if it's a curvy edge or a straight long edge like this, these are very easy to use. As you can see, they've got different sizes depending on what you are using to stitch, you know. Something as huge as this, okay, let me do it again. Something as huge as this holes, you want to use it when you're, let's say you're stitching with leather like this. This is a strap leather that I cut, but I'll show you as we go on when we are busy with making the products how to cut a proper lacing string like this. So this, as you can see, it's thick, né? So it can run smoothly through your holes, you know. Doesn't matter from which direction you come from. So this type of hole punches, you can also use them for your buckles, for your belt buckles. You know, sometimes you do gain or lose weight and you have to shift the holes that you use on your belt, you know. So this is a proper one to use, you know, unlike the smaller ones that you can use. You know, when we use the small ones, we use a string like this. You know, this kind of string, it's got wax on it, so you can't just use any kind of string to stitch your leather. There's a reason why it has wax on, and the reason for that is that when you stitch with this string, it works perfectly on your leather. It stays flat, it doesn't get loose quickly like any other strings, you know. You can get them at your local stores as well. Yes, and just make sure that they've got, always have wax on it. Okay, I'll still show you wax. You can still buy wax separately and maybe get a string that doesn't have wax. So before you use it, you can just run it through your wax so that it must be on the state for you to be able to use it properly. Okay, now these are different types of punches. They are called chisel. You know, these ones were made on our local craft stores, leather crafting stores. You get different shapes on the edges here. These ones are a bit how can I say, a bit rectangular shape. They have a rectangular shape. You also get them with a diamond shape, still depending on the type of products that you want to use. Let me just show you with this one the type of holes you get from using this. As you can see, these ones, they look more like the holes that you get from a stitching or a sewing machine, you know. So, you know, in most cases when you're doing your leather crafting, your stitching you have to compare it to a machine. It has to be as neat as the machine, the stitch that you get from your industrial machines, you know. So this type of chisel, it gives you something more similar to the machine quality of stitching, né? And sometimes your punches, you use veg leather as thick as your belt, something like this. You know, as you can see, the thickness is not the same, né? So if you need to punch something as thick as this, we call this veg leather because vegetable oil was used to tan this leather, you know. Yeah, unlike these other ones, but we'll get that. I'll explain more when we start using this type of leather. So now, when you're using this, when you're punching on this type of leather, sometimes your holes, they get too thin. You know, you can even see, just to go through, you have to apply a bit of more pressure, you know. So sometimes you can mark it like this and your holes and don't come through like this. There we use what we call an awl. An awl is something like a needle. The point is very sharp. It's very dangerous. You must just know exactly how to use this. So what we do is we push it through like this, and then what happens is, as you push it through, the size of your hole expands. As you can see, these holes are not the same as other holes. So also you must know exactly what you're doing and how, you know, so that when you do your punching, the type of outcome that comes from that is exactly what you want. And you must not just get something that you didn't plan to get, you know. So proper tooling is one of the secrets to a good quality or a leather product that is perfectly made. So you must always have the proper tooling to design or to make this type of products from leather. Okay, there are things like leather wallets, small ones. I'll show you when I start producing the products. You can cheat some of the things by making the products without using the proper leather tools, you know. But I'll show you other. This is specifically for people who don't have the proper tooling, you know, or who maybe don't have enough money to stock on the tools. But those are just startup things, not something that you can use for a long time. But I'll show you when we get to that stage. Okay, now there is another type of owl. As you can see, this one is much thicker than this one, you know. So also it depends on the product that you're using, which owl you'll be able to utilize. Okay, and then now here we're having a needle, and in this type of needle we use it mostly when we're fixing our shoes and bags. As you can see, this needle's got 2 pointed edge. The other one is in front and the other one is on the side. So this one on the side is what we use to hook the string when you punch it. Let me quickly show you with this one. Like for instance, you want to stitch on this four holes here. This is how you would stick or hook your string on the needle, and then you put it through. So now on a normal needle like this, it has a hole where you can put through your string or your leather strap. With this one, it doesn't have a hole, it just has a hook where you keep on hooking your string every time you stitch, you know, like that. So it makes it easy for you to stitch places that you cannot see properly. For instance, when you're fixing your shoes in front on the nose, you know, you can't exactly see what's happening inside the shoe, so you have to penetrate from the outside to the inside and do the correct thing. So as you can see with this type of needle, you can be able to pull it through to some point where you don't see it, and then hook it up like that from the inside, pull it out, hook it again at the back. And this type of stitching here is something that a machine will do, but we are doing it with our hands. So yeah, this is a type of work you would need to, or this is a type of outcome that you'll be left with when you're using this type of needle. It's very replaceable, it's replaceable. You can get thin ones. Thin ones are usually used when you're stitching your shoes on top, when you're fixing your shoes on top, and then the other ones like when you're joining two pieces of leather like this, or maybe stitching from your sole up to your upper part of the shoe. Okay, now next, what's next is our, see this tools. These are, I call them partners, because for you to have a proper stitching on your veg leather, you must have the set. It's not complete, but with this you can do a very proper job. Okay, these two that are stitch markers. As you can see, you get the one that makes small marks, and you get ones that makes a bigger markers. So this is, okay, let me start here first. No, let me start here first. Let's say we're stitching something like leather belt. So veg leather, like I said, it's very hard. The texture is very stiff and hard. So sometimes the edges can hurt you, you know. So let's just say this is around your waist and you're bending from side to sides. These edges can hurt you. So to prevent that, we have something that we call a buffer. So this buffer, firstly, it's gonna work on your edges and make them a bit curved, you know, like this. You can use it straight like this, or you can apply water. Just make your leather damp like that. You remember, this is very stiff, so with water it makes it very damp. So everything that you apply on the leather, it can be easily be visible. So when your leather is damp like this, you can easily, as you can see the pressure, you can run it very smoothly, unlike when it's dry. You see, so you are able to scarf your edges, even at the bottom here. You can scarf it like that. So it doesn't, you don't need to use it on your belt as well, even on your bags, on your curves, you know, on your edges. This is the proper tool to use to buff your your leather. It comes in different sizes and edges here, different edges, but this one is a basic one to start your work with. So when you're done with this, then you come with a straight line marker. The straight line marker here is adjustable, so depending on where you wanna, and stiff too sometimes, so you need to adjust it here on the amount of spacing that you want in between. Okay guys, it doesn't want to go through, so I'm just gonna work with what I've been working here. But what happens is you can unscrew it here, and then this piece will be loose. I don't know why it doesn't want to unscrew today, but anyway, we'll work on it. This spacing usually is the space that I use to stitch from the edge to the inside. Something like a half centimeter. So what you do is, after buffing your leather, you will run it like this. So this straight line marker, okay, this is where you're gonna do your stitching on. This is the line that's going to direct you on how you're gonna stitch your belt. For in case your stitching must be straight like the machine, not just like it must not be that visible that it was handcrafted. Okay, so after making your line like this, you come to your stitch marker. So like I said, this one makes pretty big markings like that. So the spacing in between are quite big compared to this one. I just made it without a strap so that you can be able to notice the sizing and the, let me do this one just next to it, so that you'll be able to see the different sizing that each tool leaves behind. So with this one here, it's what maybe you will prefer to use when you're stitching your shoes on top, you know, like on the top part of your shoes where there's more eye contact. And then this one as well is more suitable for your bags. When you're doing your side bags and your arm belts, you will see as we go on with our videos. Okay, so when you're having these three, either one of these, because with the small ones you can still make the same spacing as this one. You can just, instead of maybe skipping one mark, you can skip 2 or 3 marks, then it will make the size of your stitching to be more broader. So when you're having these ladies here, your team is very strong. You're gonna have or end up with a very nice looking product. Okay, so now let's just say you're done with your stitching your leather, or some products don't need stitching, like for instance your waist belt. These is what you use mostly on the product that you don't stitch. These are your decorations tools. It also work on a damp surface as well to get the best products, to get the best outcomes. So I'll so much show you how to use them. Remember, your leather must be damp. Your veg leather must always be damp so that you get the outcomes that you want. So if your piece of leather is damp like this, and let's say you want to use this one here, I want to show you the different types of decorating this. So you get many different shapes and sizes, so it will be up to you which ones you prefer to use. I'm just gonna punch 3 different ones so that you see how they. Okay, let me just do 4. Nice. Now these, you can decorate your belt with, or your side bags, or anything that, you know, if you see that your product is a bit plain and you want to put more flavor to it, you know. So these are one of the tools that you can always use. Now when you wanna bind your leather together, and you're not stitching, or maybe the place where you're stitching is a bit small or tight, we use things like rivets. This is what we call rivets and press-stits. Now we've got tools to put this on your leather. Okay, there's another piece that goes with this one. I'll show you later on again when we're doing when we're actually doing the products. So with this, for the eyelets, this is the tools that you use. As you can see, your eyelets, okay, your eyelets are different. They've got different sets. So there's a different tool for different type of set that you wanna put on your leather, but I'll elaborate on that more when we reach that stage. Today we're just running through the types of tools that we're gonna use. And then with rabbits, we also have a tool for it. It's also different. They are similar. You can just, let me just put them here so that you spot the difference. You know, these two are for the eyelets, and then you get this one for your rabbits as well. As you can see, these ones are a bit similar but different. Just know that they're different, and if you want a certain type of outcome, you must just use a proper tool for it. Okay, so these ones are for your rabbits. I'll still show you again when we're busy with our products. Okay, again with this tool, I like this number. Oh, I love this number. This is what we use to put your eyelets on. An eyelets on is something like this. This is for your shoestrings, maybe on your neck pieces you want to put a string that you want to tie together. So these are the type of eyelets that we use. We've got different sizes for it. So what you do is you put one here on the other side, and then you clip it together like this. The other piece will bend it either on the outside or in the inside, depending on the type of things that you're using. So it's replaceable. You get ones that are not replaceable. That's why I say I like this number, because it's like 2 in 1. It depends on what you're putting here. You can also put small presters. These are presters. Remember I told you with leather, you get them with the tool like this. You get smaller ones for clothes that you can put on. I don't know if I have them near me now, but I'll show you later on as well. So you can just change them and then put on your presters on your material. These are the type of tools that you use mostly when you're making your jewelry. Yeah, your jewelry and that's like your arm belts, your neck pieces, yes, and for your bags as well. When these types of presses, because they're a bit bigger and they can handle pressure. Okie dokie. Next, we nearly finished. It's this. Usually we use this for beads, for beading, but it's a 4-in-1. As you can see, I already have a lot of tools that I'm working with, so I just want to try to minimize as much as I can where I can. So this is a 4-in-1 tool. We use it for designing our jewelry. We're going to use this much when we're doing our earrings. So this is you get one for nose. This part here is I think they call it the nose, and you get a cutter and you get a bender as well. So you can do quite a number with this type of tool. And then from there, it's just your water and your normal sponging that you use. And lastly, it's your sandpaper. This is what you use for your edges to make them smooth after you've cut, and you just need to work on your quality, your finishing. It comes in different sizes. I just use some P40 and P80. You know, when you're using this, you can get a branding, the branding that you use from making your furniture. It's got 4 sizes on it. You can just cut a stripe and paste one on 2 sides, so that when you use it with the branding, it's more efficient. Thank you very much. The next video you'll be seeing from me will be doing our jewelry, which is your earrings and your neck pieces. Thank you very much, friends.